Good morning, everyone. My name is Claudio. On behalf of Art Basel, I'd like to welcome you to this morning's conversation panel. It's in a series that we started in Hong Kong entitled The Artist and the Gallerist, because we thought this relationship between the artist and the gallerist is quite unique and special in the art world. So we wanted to have a series with more conversations between an artist and a gallerist, and we're super happy to have kind of two living legends here this morning, Massimo Minini and Dan Graham, and I'm also very happy that Mark Rappolt kindly agreed to moderate this panel. I also quickly want to thank the Absolute Company for helping us making all the videos of the conversations online. This conversation will go for about 1 hour, and after that you'll have the opportunity to ask your own questions. So, without further ado, I'll please hand over the microphone to Mark, and thanks for coming.
Thank you. So I think just a brief introduction, if there is one necessary, to our two speakers today. Massimo Minini founded his gallery in 1973. It was originally called Banco and focused early on conceptual and minimal art and arte povera, and from there has sort of expanded to cover everyone from Luciano Fabro, Ettore Spelletti, Anisha Kapoor, Maurizio Catalan, and loads of others, I guess. Yeah. Dan Graham is an American artist who once ran a gallery. Briefly. We sold nothing. Yeah, he sold nothing, unlike Massimo. And is one of the most important, I think, conceptual artists of our time. His work covers performance, installation, video, and photography, and generally focuses on architecture and its psychological effects on us. Before we begin, I just wanted to read Massimo, who's had his gallery for 40 years, has 2 books I highly recommend. I think they're going to be at the front later. But here's just a little bit of Massimo and Dan. In addition to being a pioneer of American conceptual art, he's a good friend. All he talks about is architecture, the Pope, cats, and the Zodiac. So that's a summary of what we're going to be discussing later. And here's Dan on Massimo. Massimo was once politically a good government communist. Massimo's approach to art was similar to mine at the time, a mix of the conceptual with humorous discourse. So maybe we start with you, with how the gallery started. Why did you want to do it?
Why?
Yeah, why did a good government communist want to open a commercial gallery?
At that time, we were all communist. Not 51%, but the Communist Party in Italy was over 30%.
Yeah.
Imagine that the Italian communism was not as the Russian communist. Was something who liberate Italy from the fascism. So. Yeah. What we say, la svolta di Salerno, the Togliatti made possible the Article 7 of the Constitution. They built a new Italy, and it was quite natural for, let's say, intellectuals to be on the left side. As Giorgio Gaber said in a famous song, Gaber was a singer. We were all communists, because the cinema was on the left side, literature was on the left side, painters were there, and it was quite normal to be on this side of the barricade. In any case, I'm still on the same side. We are not any more communist as we were at that time, a bit more, not so red, a bit more pink. And I must say that in the very recent elections in my city, I for the first time in my life, I will have some official charge for the culture.
Okay.
So, Dan, I'm selling the gallery pretty soon, so I have to find another gallery in Italy. I will do something else, but probably a bit better for you.
I know one thing I want to mention, Massimo was a friend of Politi. In other words,
yeah.
Flash art, in the beginning of Flash art, you were writer, and I would say intellectual. I don't like being called an intellectual, but I think we're both intellectuals.
Well, this is not true. Not
You're not
true.
intellectual?
I imagine I studied law, diritto, how you say, law in Milano. I don't know why, but in any case, I was very bad in mathematics, so I couldn't afford anything about engineering or architecture. I was afraid of blood, so no medicina, no.
But Dan, how does it feel to have a gallerist who's not very good at mathematics?
Well, actually, I'm a little different from a contemporary artist. I always just like artists as businessmen. All the artists I know now are interested in business, but I have a question. Massimo did something wonderful for me. I've become a collector, and I always wanted a Luciano Fabro. I arranged to trade with him. He suddenly died, and Massimo arranged for me to get a piece. So I now have Luciano Fabro.
Wow.
Also, I'm a major collector.
Yeah.
Dan has a beautiful collection of small pieces, from Eva Esse to Joe Baer, from Soluit to Luciano Fabro. I'm someone who I mean, I promised Dan to make this deal, and suddenly, unexpectedly, Luciano died. Yeah. But I didn't dismiss, and 5 years later, I succeed to get a piece from Silvia, who was here. Maybe she's there, I don't know. And so Dan is a happy collector of a piece of Luciano Fabro who belonged to the ideology of Lucio Fontana in a way, because there is a cut.
Well, yes, exactly. Fontana, I think, was the greatest artist of the 20th century, and he was basically Argentinian more than he was Italian. But I guess Italians don't think that.
You know, Argentina.
He was pure Argentinian. Also, his biggest influence was Mandela Rosso, who was Italian.
Yeah,
a great artist, who, by the way, is not in my collection.
Did you hear that?
Mandela Rosso.
I don't know.
He's not in my collection.
He's not in your collection.
Yeah, but I'm here
I will
to
find
try.
You one.
I'm here to try to find a Paul Klee.
You need a Paul Klee either?
I'm trying to find a small drawing here.
Okay, let's do a deal. I can buy in an auction. Give me a pavilion for the Paul Klee or half pavilion.
But I love astrology, and all my best dealers are Virgos.
I'm Virgo, by the way.
Oh yes. Yeah. The reason I let Virgos are such good dealers is they have intellectual interest in art, and they can explain it.
And we go to the end of the problem.
Also, they believe in service. In other words, they want to serve people, their clients, and their artists.
The best.
And Massimo, what made you want to start working with Dan?
Because at that time when I opened the gallery, and even now, of course, Dan was a major artist, and I tried to, my generation, I mean, Dan is my generation, more or less. Yeah. And I wanted to work with the artists of my generation. Of course, previous artists are more glamorous. So we all dreamed to have Cy Twombly or Lucio Fontana or whatever, but at that time they were too expensive, impossible to touch, already with their own galleries. So even today, young galleries, young dealers, they start with their own generation, like my daughter or any other who are here.
What's your daughter's name?
Francesca
and
Alessandra.
And where's it based?
Thank you for the question.
Is Milano more?
Milano, via Massimiano 25, telephone 02.
Is Milano more important art center than Brescia?
In fact, I told her, if you want to open a gallery, why do you stay in Brescia? I made the mistake myself. Don't stay here. Go away. So Milano is the closest city. Then, you know, a father or a mother make a shadow on top of her son or daughter. So better they do something completely different.
So why did you stay in Brescia?
Because I'm lazy, bit lazy.
Well, Massimo loves to, but Virgos love architecture. Massimo loves to fabricate my work as a kind of architect. And Brescia apparently has a great steel industry.
Brescia is a very, very powerful city first. It's not a small city. I mean, it's not that big, but in the Italian economy, Brescia is the third or the fourth city as a power of generating, let's say, money.
Do you have a good football or soccer team?
A good what?
A football, soccer team.
No, second series.
Oh, I see.
From time to time they go up to the first, and then immediately they go down the next year. So, no, not that much, and not even big collectors. But I mean, what they want to say is that even a gallery in Paris doesn't sell to people or local people. Yeah. We know that in Berlin there are some 400 galleries, but there are no collectors. They sell to American or Chinese or Japanese when they come. So I was born in a funny period at the beginning of a big change. Imagine that when I opened the gallery, I had no telephone for 1 year. The first year, no telephone, nothing. So I was there waiting someone entering the gallery, and nobody went, or almost nobody. So I had to launch the gallery around in Italy and in Europe. So I took my car and I started making travels. And in these travels, I went very often in Belgium and Holland.
The best collectors, they say, are in Belgium. I kind of agree. But also, I think you did some work for your father, right?
Yes, of course. The gallery could feed the family, my little family, after a while, not immediately. So I had to study in the university. After the university, I went back to Brescia to do something. And I had to work with my father, or he had to work with me better. I founded a little company, and he joined the company after a while. He got pensioner. So after a while, I met Giancarlo Politi, by the way, as you said, in Flash Art, and he said, what the fucking are you in Brescia, in this little city in the end of the world? Come to Milano with me. So I left my job. I went to see him. And with my surprise, I discovered that in Flash Art, which is a leading magazine today, at that time we were 2 people working, Giancarlo Politi, and I was the second, only. My rule was not to write. I was not a writer as probably I am today. Am I a writer today, Dan?
Well, I don't understand Italian.
But my texts are in English either.
Oh, but I love Italian film. My favorite filmmaker is Elio Petri.
Ten Victim.
And also the star was a woman from Switzerland, Ursula Andrews. She's from Bern.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring up one thing. I showed with a very avant-garde gallery, Franco Toselli, a super hippie, and I think Massimo was a friend, right?
Yeah. In fact, I met, so let's say, being in Flash Art, I was not a writer, I was just an organizer. My rule was the organization. Selling the magazine, making the contacts with gallery, advertising, distribution, and basically fundraising. So I was also selling artworks. The advertising very often at that time was paid in nature with artworks. Okay. So my rule was to sell. And there I learned how to sell art. And one day I was so intelligent and so speed that I must admit, I made some insider trading. So imagine I was on the scene, I found a nice artwork. I bought the artwork for me, and a few days later I sold the artwork for me. And
but wasn't that very Italian?
Very Italian, yeah.
Also, usually Italians. I've showed with many Italian galleries in the 70s. Almost all of these galleries, I didn't sell anything, and they kind of stole my work. Whereas Massimo was totally honest. Not only now he gives me money even before I make a sale. That's his character.
Yeah.
Amazing character.
Well,
But now we're selling, right?
This is why. This is why one day.
That question.
Sorry.
Now you're selling my work. It's working now, finally.
What I do with your work?
You can now that my work is finally selling. You're making sales.
I make the sales. Yeah, I mean, the dealer makes sales.
Yeah.
I make sales. I give you your 50%. I take mine. Otherwise, I can't pay all these stories.
But we've lost a lot of sales in very funny ways. For example, the major sale in Bolzano.
No, it's not true, because I sold the piece to someone who sold the piece to someone else. So
No,
I'm at the origin of the.
No, I'm not. We made some sales, but I'm talking about
the big pavilion.
the big pavilion for the new house.
Yeah, but I lost the sale because you sold directly.
The story was the collector. The collector was building a beautiful house. With a very great architect, also a Virgo.
Yeah.
He was in a way he was buying some very good stuff and bad stuff. The project was great, and then suddenly his wife, a very beautiful woman, who was very attracted to me and other people, she left him, and everything fell through.
Yeah.
But this is the story of selling in Italy, right?
But probably you mix up, because in fact
But we didn't make the sale.
we did 3 pavilions in Bolzano.
No, but this is my best piece.
The one in the big house.
It's a terrace.
No, this is being done. I mean, the sale was done.
But I got no money yet.
You get the money. I have the receipt.
I see.
I pay you from Switzerland. At that time, we had the account. Communists had the account in Switzerland. Not anymore today.
By the way, I was also never a communist. I'm a European socialist. Very much involved with Jacques Lang and Mitterrand at that period.
Okay.
I'm a European socialist. So you were a communist, but I'm a kind of a socialist of the French variety.
I see from your T-shirt.
But I wanted to bring up something else. By the way, come sta?
By the way,
Come sta?
molto bene, grazie.
See.
Well, not so good.
I want to mention something that's very personal. It's very important in the art field. First of all, the greatest American dealer, who was actually originally Italian, was Virgo, Leo Castelli. From Trieste. But what I wanted to bring up was, I know maybe 2 years ago, I think, Paula Cooper was honored at the Basel Art Fair as the greatest dealer.
Is Paula Virgo?
No, she's a very beautiful Pisces, one of the most beautiful women ever. And I've heard from women in the art world that Massimo is the most handsome.
Who said that?
Well, Michelin Schweitzer, many women dealers.
He can give you the names and addresses afterwards.
Okay, give me the phone number.
But Wendy Chang hasn't mentioned
Wendy,
your name.
I love her, Wendy.
No, but she hasn't mentioned your name in a long time.
Yeah.
But Massimo is very liked. It's not that he's handsome.
She's living too far away. She's in Vancouver.
I was going to ask them, I mean, from your books and everything, friendships are very important parts of the relationship between an artist and a gallerist. Could you imagine working with someone you weren't friends with, but whose work maybe you admired? Or is friendship a key to
For
it?
Dan, you mean?
No, for anyone. You're friends with Dan.
Of course, a good relation or a friendship is very important for the relation with your artist. Working with an artist who is also a friend is much easier and more important and interesting than just working and selling and buying and goodbye. So finally, also in my book, you will see, you have seen, they will see, if you want, there are some books here after the speech. The book is not in alphabetical order, it's not in chronological order. In fact, the book is in disorder, as I say. But as Alighiero Boetti said, the disorder found a new order. So I decided to put together artists alone or in groups according my I don't know what how you can say according the taste of the day.
Yeah.
I made this book in a hospital. It took me 4 months to make. I was in a hospital only 1 week, in fact.
Were the nuns not good to you?
Good nun, yeah, very, very, very good.
Those come
Very
to
friendly.
hospitals, nuns.
So in the hospital, I had my room with all the papers. They were a bit astonished. I was writing day and night. I wrote the text. In Italian, we say io narrante. So I wrote all the text for all the artists to tell, let's say, to tell the story. And I decide who stay with whom. And Dan, I sat down together with an Italian photographer, Paolo Gioli, which is a very, very important photographer. Paolini is alone, Solluit and Spalletti together, some figurative painters together like Ontani, Salvo, Van Elk, Docopil, and Paul P. So I play with the material. And of course, some of them has a better story. And about Dan, I have many things to say because we spent quite a lot of time, as I say in the little book. You can probably quote traveling
In cars.
by car at that time.
But you never get.
Am I a good driver?
Well, the main thing is you're on the phone all the time, so you can. They say now you can't text and drive, but you're able to do phone, drive, everything.
And text. Yeah,
The problem is Massimo doesn't really stop for great food. Sometimes
We stopped on the motorway once.
auto grill. Auto grill.
No, we went outside in Barberino del Mugello.
No, but auto grill. You like the auto grill?
Yeah, I like McDonald's.
You're not living up to the Italian stereotypes, sir.
Sorry.
You're not living up to the Italian stereotypes.
But
of
Brescia
good living.
has the
No,
best
no.
gelato anywhere in Italy. It's true.
Of course. Maybe show the picture. At the end of the book, there are some picture I took to my artist, and the first is Dan eating an ice cream in Brescia, and he said that the best ice cream in the world is in Brescia.
No, you said that.
No, you said that. Da Brescia fanno il miglior gelato del mondo da Bedon. You said, I remember.
It's written down.
It's written down, and so on. So about this book, it's a book of. It's not really a book of memories. It's not a book about only the past, but it's a book about the present and maybe the future. And
Is the future Berlusconi again?
it's back again, unfortunately.
Is
I
that effective?
think
It is a bit
this has
better than before.
nothing to do with Massimo. I think the best president for Italy is the return of Cicciolino.
Cicciolina.
And then Jeff Koons could be official artist.
And how important is it for the different artists within the galleries to be friendly with each other? I mean, this is a question for Dan, too.
With me, it's all about friendship. I like dealers where I can intellectual rapport. Also, Massimo has great sense of humor, as you probably noticed.
Yeah.
I like galleries who have humor, dealers who have humor. But I had another question. I know you showed some great artists, but you told me one artist was difficult. I believe that was Fabro. But what are other difficult artists? But still great.
Many were difficult.
I was difficult, right? But
Many were difficult. Fabro was a very, very, let's say, very serious, very important artist for us. We made 2 shows. So I approached Fabro much later than Dan and Paolini and Toroni, Buren, and so. So they were the first row in the mid-70s. Fabro landed in the gallery in 82, something like that, 82, 83. Fabro was a monument. Nice friend, but no, difficult to touch.
I believe he was Scorpio.
I don't know.
No, I know this.
I don't know.
But he had his own agenda. He started a very good school with James Coleman in 1, 2.
Yeah.
He was a very good teacher, good writer, but intense. And I wouldn't say he was a diva, but I think he challenged authority. Maybe you were authority.
Well, in any case, I approached, I knew Fabro since ever, and one day I found the courage to say, look, why don't we do something together? So I say, let me see, maybe one day, and he dictated me some very precise rules, how to do, what to do, and so on and so and so. So finally, we had this show. And the Fabro arrived, the lorry arrived, we opened the lorry, this one work. I was looking at, so the lorry was almost empty, and Fabro realized that I was a bit upset because of only one work. And he said immediately, better one good work than 10 bad works. So, in fact, the work was beautiful, was in Italy, which is a logo of the work of Fabro. Kind of homage to Brescia, because the Italy was completely in iron and aluminum and copper and beautiful color. This work went to a famous German collection, the Fair collection, Mr. Rentschler. And so we had, there is also the picture in the book, Fabro and Silvia and me and a few people. At that time the gallery was serious and poor. So at the opening we had only a few people. Yeah. Today we have 1,000 people, but the gallery is not anymore serious and not anymore poor. And so the work was beautiful in the center of the gallery. The rule were I had to buy the work. I'm sorry to say, and also to pay the work before the opening. This was one of the rule of Luciano. And in fact, I paid the work the day after, and he was not so happy. And then we did the second show 2 years later with another Italy. At that time, I paid the work the day before, and he was very happy. Then, as you know, Fabro was a famous teacher in the academy in Milano, like today's Alberto Garutti, another famous Italian artist and a very important professore, Accademia di Brera. And he had a little school around him, some pupils. And for the third show, he wanted me to show the pupils, and I say, I prefer the master. And so in a way, we lost the contact. He was a bit upset, me not to afford the work of his school. So we kept a very good relation. We spent holidays together, many things, but not anymore, not another show. So I had only 2 shows with Fabro. And one day he died suddenly, heart attack. Buonanotte. But when I found some works in the auction, I bought two little drawings of him in an auction recently. I can trade with you.
No, I only have one example of every artist I collect.
One each.
One each. Except for Mangold, I have 3. And also...
Eva Esse, you have 2?
No, just one drawing. But I want the most interesting... I have a story to tell. One of my shows in Massimo's gallery, he invited for the dinner Musha Prada and her husband. She was very beautiful, Musha Prada.
You fall in love for her?
Oh no, she had great love for me. She always chased me. She said she wanted a meditation pavilion, but
don't say that.
No, a private place where she can meditate. I guess women were getting into meditation and yoga then, and her husband, who was like me, an Aries, they used to have violent fights in public, but he actually made the business. He was very dynamic. The meditation pavilion didn't happen because I think that the Prada Foundation decided that they preferred German talent. They preferred Anish Kapoor. I have nothing bad to say about Anish because I've sold almost no works with Listen Gallery. Only one piece was sold, and it was actually to to Inish Kapoor. So he's supportive in his own way. He's become a collector of my work. So I'm very happy.
Anish was here yesterday. Yeah, just one day.
Now he's divorced, and Alex Logsdale of Listen Gallery thinks his wife has my piece, that he may after the divorce is finished, he may buy another piece for his new house.
You should buy from me the next piece.
So Massimo, what's it like when Dan's working with other galleries? Do you get jealous, or is it upsetting at all?
You mean with other galleries in the world?
In the world, yeah.
No, you know, at our times we were used to share artists with many galleries.
That's what dealers are about. They make deals with other galleries, right?
Not only worldwide, but even, may we say, in Italy you had many dealers.
Yes, but they were all kind of, almost all of them were intellectuals like you. The problem is they stole work.
This is your problem, but
well, no, it's a problem. Italians dealers are banditas.
Well, you had shows with not everybody.
Bandito.
You had shows with Mario Pieroni, which is not a bandito. You had show with Toselli, Lucio Meglio, Lia Rumba.
But no, the good artists were Bonomo. She was good.
Who?
Bonomo.
Bonomo. Yes.
She was a good person. Lucio Meglio was a brilliant Virgo person.
Be difficult man, huh?
Well, he's an actor.
Absolutely.
Actors can be very difficult.
I wrote something for Lucio Meglio in my little book. There are only two galleries in my book, Amelio and now Art and Project. This is the second edition of the Pizzini, and it's in alphabetical order. So Amelio is the A at the very beginning. And no, but to follow your question, at that time, not only Dan had many galleries in the world, he had many galleries in Italy, but it was quite common. Imagine that Mario Schifano had 20 galleries in Italy, Mario Merz had 10, Paolini 9, Dan had 7 or 8. This was the system at that time.
The system was the galleries shared information with each other as friends.
It was a kind of net, you know, kind of net.
No, it was called friendship rather than competition.
Yeah,
that's the ethos I belong to.
Today is much more
today,
competitive.
the big galleries. I won't mention one of my galleries. They believe artists are not friends but competitors. In fact, the reason I show sometimes with galleries is because I love the artists in the gallery. And it's all about sharing friendship.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm very different from modern artists.
You're a classic artist, not modern.
No, I'm basically a populist, not an intellectual. I've done great popular pieces. Dia Foundation.
On the roof.
No, the great the What of the Sunset, the Hayward Gallery, which is being taken down. Basically, I'm a populist who people say is an intellectual. Basically, also a writer. When I came into art, all the artists were writers, so I saw myself as an artist-writer.
Yeah.
In terms of books, I want to promote my book, Rock Writings. It's available everywhere.
It's available everywhere.
Yeah, how many editions do you had?
No, Rock Writings, the second edition didn't come out, and probably won't.
By the way, Nicholas Logsdale is coming. Hi. Big great dealer of Dan. Maurizio Nanucci went 5 minutes ago. Thank you, a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Your eyesight is better than mine. I have trifocals, and I can barely see.
I'm much younger than you.
So, how much younger?
At least 2 years younger. makes a big difference.
So let's ask, who's the boss in this relationship between
Who is the boss?
gallerist and artist? Yeah.
Who is the boss?
Yeah.
There is no rule. The rules are dictated by the part who is more powerful. So imagine, to make an example, Alberto Burri, at the end of his career, he was giving the works only to few people, I should not say, with only 20% discount. If they wanted, this was the condition, otherwise, forget. So let's say between a dealer and an artist, If you are a very famous artist, you say, I want this and this and this and this. If you are a young artist, the dealer say, I give you this and this and this and this. So there's not one.
Well, also, as a dealer situation, I have one big dealer, and she's...
there are many here of your dealers.
No, there's one dealer who thinks she sets the price. So it's very hard for, if I have a very good collector with the gallery I'd like, that gallery, will, if it's a good collector, the gallery wants to drop the price a little bit. This dealer, who really never sold work of mine, calls up and insists on a high price or a low price. That's the system now. And all the galleries are big galleries now. So the small gallery, but the way it works for Massimo is he travels, we do site-specific work, because normally work is site-specific, he doesn't sell in Italy, but actually I think people respect him, even if he's in their territory, because people love and admire Massimo almost universally, but he's never been to Japan. Although my best dealer in Japan was a Virgo, Keiko Shimada.
Keiko.
Yes, she retired, but you're not retiring, are you?
No, I'm selling the gallery. The gallery is now 40 years old. If someone wants to buy, it's for sale.
Does it come with Dan?
Dan is part of the deal. One night with Dan Graham and the gallery. Okay. Do you agree? According.
It depends whether I like the owner.
You like the owner?
If I like the owner,
okay.
I can approve the deal.
Okay.
A new owner.
And how does it work with collectors when the work's being sold, Dan? Do you have a lot of input into people you particularly want to sell work to or don't want to sell work to?
I never control anything. See, I've become more like an architect. I began this horrible disease, artists wanting to be architects and architects wanting to be artists wanting to be architects. It's a terrible disease. I may have started, but I'm a little like an architect. Whatever client comes in, what they want, I adapt what I'm doing and try to subvert their original ideas into something interesting. With Massimo, there've been some difficult clients, but on the other hand, they're all very interesting. And on a human level, I've met some very interesting people. Collectors are not as they say, assholes. In fact, Mr. Flick, by the way, they say he's a Nazi, but in fact he's quite brilliant. He buys impulsively, but collectors are actually they're passionate. They just have to buy everything. They get very excited and just want to buy. So what Massimo does is he finesses a relationship, because most collectors think I'm crazy. There's a rumor that I'm crazy. So if I deal with the dealer reassures them that I'm going to come through.
This is why I'm buying, as Dan say, before I sell, because also I'm a bit crazy. I'm a collector, basically. So I like to have the artwork. 2 years ago, I bought from you 5 pavilions, and then I sold 3, so I still have 2. If someone wants to have one, after the speech we can discuss. But the nice part of the work, of my work, is not selling an artwork to someone, but is buying. Yeah. Much better buy than sell. Then, of course, we are obliged to sell something to pay the bills, to pay the fare. Unless you succeed to get me a discount of the next fair.
I think you can probably ask someone in the audience.
Okay, which is very expensive. But so I'm a collector also.
Do you like young collectors?
Young?
Young collectors. I also have to say something. My collectors, on the whole, 40% of my collectors are doctors. They do research. Often they go to Lake Consortium and Alternative Space. They do research, like the Jensen's, and then they buy. It's very rare that I have somebody who's not intellectual. But Massimo is very good for me because, in a sense, Massimo is intellectual. But nobody likes intellectuals anymore.
No? They're out of fashion?
They're out of fashion, yes.
Okay.
But how do you think the kind of art world has changed since you first started? What are the big differences?
It's completely different. It's completely something else. And, I mean, the world changed since then. After Ryanair, the world is different. After Ryanair and Google. I told you I opened the gallery without telephone.
Yeah.
I made one of my first sale like this. So I had the gallery in Via Cattaneo, imagine. And one day, the man of a bar near my gallery went running, and he said, "Hey, there is someone on the telephone for you." It was a collector from Genova, and he bought a piece of an artist from my gallery on the phone, calling me. So how he found me? So he went through the yellow page. He had my address via Cattaneo. He looked in the yellow page, the next bar via Cattaneo. He phoned to the bar. He asked to the man to come to my gallery, and on the phone we made a deal. So imagine today is completely different, the world. At that time, when I finally had the telephone, to make international call, you had to dial a number. It was number 15, let's say. And you dial this number for half an hour. Occupied. Finally, someone answers you, say, "What do you want?" "I want to call this number in Paris." "Okay, wait." Then you have to wait 3 hours, maybe. Today, you have your little telephone.
I want to bring up something else. The importance of art fairs. Massimo sells, a lot of the clients come to see a model or something, then you convince them to do a site-specific work. And art fairs are pretty important, even for me. As a kind of collector, I go to art fairs, see things I want, and then I contact the artist myself, and we make a trade. I love art fairs for that reason. Also, the last time I was in Basel 8 years ago.
You made once, but it didn't succeed with the man in South Italy.
Well, I always see Pettibone, and now I'm going to trade.
Yeah.
Raymond Pettibone. But he loves baseball, so I think we're going to go to a baseball game when I come back to New York.
Okay.
But Toselli, my first most important dealer in Italy before Massimo, he was a world-class football player, right?
At that time, you had no pavilion. Your work was different also.
No, but Franco's a better athlete than you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like Franco. Mm-hmm. He made many disasters, but I like him.
Well, it was very avant-garde, but his advisor was actually Paolo Betti.
Paolo Betti. She was associated with him.
Well, she also had money.
Probably.
Yes, their family had money.
Yeah.
Associated. No, she was actually.
She lost all the money with Franco Gallery. Probably.
No, but she was an intellectual advisor. I once asked her who were the most important artists in Italy. She said Fabro and Palini.
How you went to Italy the first time at the beginning?
It was actually Lawrence Wiener recommended me to Franco Toselli.
So Franco was.
And
the first.
I never went to I never went to art school, so I didn't visit to see the masters. In fact, I'm getting educated. I was in Rome, and my wife, who's in the audience, and she has beautiful T-shirts. Mieko Magoro is trying to convince me about Michelangelo. She loves Caravaggio. We have a big argument. She likes Michelangelo, and I like Leonardo da Vinci.
And who do you prefer at that time? From that time?
At that time, I don't. But Leonardo was like me. He was an Aries. He loved cats. He did so many different things. But I'm trying to educate myself about art. Now I go to museums. It's pretty amazing. You can go to a museum and see great art.
And you like architecture. Who is your favorite Italian architect at the moment?
Well, from the past, my favorite architect was Luigi Nervi.
Once you told me Terragni. Once was Terragni.
That's Terragni was absolutely brilliant.
Was a hero 10 years ago.
Actually, Milano has a great Terragni, Casa Rustica.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's Atelier Bow Wow. From Japan, I think has some of the greatest architects. That's my hobby, architecture tourism. It's fun. And also, I introduced. Actually, Massimo has been very good to me. He showed me the last work of what's his name? The cemetery, Scarpa.
Carlo Scarpa.
And also, I saw a house that Scarpa did. We couldn't go. We couldn't go inside in Bolzano.
Yeah,
we couldn't go inside.
And Massimo, do you ever have? Did Dan ever come to you with a work that you're maybe not sure of? And do you come back to him and tell him this? How does that work? Or are you sure of every single work he makes?
We made very few shows, in fact. How many we made? We made that show in the '76. Then we had a long break. We lost the contact in a way. I must admit that his work was not sellable at that time, so we were looking for more interesting from the market point of view. And then I read...
Well, your gallery is actually marginal. You don't make so much money. At the moment, are you making more and more money?
A bit more now than before. So let's say an intellectual gallery, as you say. So then we rediscovered the contact in the mid-90s.
Massimo made the contact himself, by the way.
With whom?
With me.
Yeah,
you remembered the old days.
I told Dan, why don't we do something together again? And since this second contact, we became close friends.
I always say I don't want to do a gallery show because my work doesn't work very well in galleries.
You always say I don't know what to do. I have no work.
No, I don't. My work doesn't really work in a gallery context. This is why I love the work of Seal Floyer, because her work really works with the architecture. My work is site specific, so we've been concentrating on site specific work. Also, in the 80s, I did a lot of things in gardens with the French socialist government. All the museums were in kind of garden situations. So Massimo has gotten very involved with my interest in gardens, hedges, things like that. And he's been trying to promote that kind of work. And actually, we've made some good sales, right?
Yeah. But once you said, I try to have an intervention in the work. And once Dan said to me, you're not an artist. Because I try to modify the pavilion. Say, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that?
Well, the fact is, sure, we have back and forth and small disagreements about things, but they're not serious arguments. I do have some serious arguments with galleries that don't want to have dialogue with me. That happens just occasionally, almost never. The big galleries don't really want to understand my work.
You mean the small galleries like mine, they understand better?
Well, no, because we spend a lot of time together traveling, and unfortunately I don't speak Italian.
As I said, I was driving, you were sleeping.
Yeah.
But
Yes. He's a good driver, by the way.
Is that the secret to being a good gallerist?
Well,
good drive makes your artist happy and safe.
also, I'll give you a little bit of art history. My first dealer in New York was John Gibson. He had some great artists like Richard Long, Mata Clark, Dennis Oppenheim, and he was in the American military, so he spoke in Germany, so he spoke German. And what he did was he took a car, a station wagon, and he had these graphics, and he went to all the Belgian collectors and sold to the Belgian collectors. So Massimo had the same idea. You were traveling in Belgium, and you made sales that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not with the staff, but with some photographs.
Well, John Gibson. Also, I wanted to bring up something very important. The last show I did with Massimo was a brilliant show. It's a little nostalgic. It was a double show with Gabriel Basilica.
Yes.
A very famous architect and photographer, and me, and it's about Brescia itself.
I invited them both to portray my city.
A little bit of nostalgia there.
They went together, they discussed the project, then they went separately to take picture. Imagine Gabriele was because he died suddenly.
But also his work is more solid than mine. You sold out the show almost, right?
Sorry?
You almost sold out the show. My photographs don't sell anymore, but I couldn't believe it. I just did a point and shoot, and Massimo actually took me to places I think he knew from high school, on the edge of the city.
Yeah. But they came to Brescia with a different attitude. So Gabriele Basilico, with a big structure behind him, he went to see the city. Then he went later with the camera and all the equipment. And Dan arrived a couple of times. I drove him by car, and he took some snapshots.
Point and shoot very fast. I think it took me about 2 hours to do everything.
2 hours
I do
once
things.
and 2 hours another time.
My photographs are hobbies. So I had a hobby, like Ed Boucher, it was a hobby attitude. But the fact is, the publication,
The publication
is
was
sold
fantastic.
out. It was designed in Switzerland and it's supposed
in Zurich by G.P.
Zurich.
Ringier. Beautiful book, sold out, big success.
Also, my local bookshop is constantly selling the book.
We did another beautiful book in Como. We could tell something about Como Adventure. At that time he was very addicted with Terragni, as I said. And he wanted to make an homage to Terragni. So
Oh no, I don't think I wanted to make an homage. What happened was Terragni's 100th birthday. So I think they contacted you, whoever it was, to do a piece.
And Marco.
For me to do a piece right next to his Casa Fascio. So we did it very fast. Actually, there was one proposal that was turned down for somewhere else. It was done very fast.
He had some money to produce the
It's
pavilion.
one of the most beautiful books I've done by Charta. We had an unfortunate situation. The piece was blown away by wind. Otherwise, Massimo could have resold it. So I've had many bad accidents, but that was the worst because it was a great piece.
Yeah,
I have to say it was a great, and it was absolutely great piece. Not only that, it was fun. We did it fast, and the public response in Como. In other words,
they didn't want to buy. I try now to propose to
the government is conservative, right?
I don't know, but they, conservative or not, they don't want to pay. They asked me recently again, why don't we rebuild the pavilion? Say, okay, how much do we want to pay? Nothing. Okay, so forget.
So if a piece doesn't sell, let's say, whose fault is that? Is that the artist's fault or the gallerist's fault?
It was no fault.
It's the collector's fault. Because they don't understand how. So buy.
But we've done pieces where with a great collector, where he didn't want to pay anything, but we did it anyway.
Our first pavilion we did with, may we say, with Egidio Marzona in.
Yes, he's a great collector. He didn't want to pay anything, but in fact, I did it. Massimo did it because we just wanted to do it. My attitude is very different from other artists. Money doesn't matter. Yeah. If it's a good situation,
we get some money.
Well, some money, but I did actually the great rock and roll puppet show done for St. 30. I lost $40,000 on it, but if it's a passionate thing, I'll do it and put my own money into it.
It was our first pavilion, so we made all the experiments.
Well, no, it was basically you dropped the price. Well, he negotiated. He was a difficult negotiator.
You can't say.
Well, look, he had money. Collectors who have money often are more difficult, right?
Yeah, the poor collectors are more generous. Rich collectors, they don't want to pay.
I think with that, maybe that's a good moment to invite anyone with questions. Maybe some of the rich collectors or the poor collectors, or people who want discounts.
It's always difficult moments.
The questions, Bill?
Yeah, the question, there is a kind of gap between conversation and the questions.
Yeah. Well, are there microphones for people?
Yeah, there's a microphone over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are many possible questions.
Are you people shy? You're hiding behind cameras, right?
Come from the darkness to under the light is always a bit difficult.
Oh, yes. More light for the audience, if possible.
Turn the light to the audience.
Well, I've got one other question then. Do your artists ever get competitive with each other about who's having sales and who isn't? Is that a problem?
Competition between artists?
Yeah, within the gallery.
Yeah, a lot, quite a lot.
And how do you manage that?
I try not to understand. When, maybe say something. Dan, who is your?
Well, Gabriele Basilica and I became good friends, but I think in some ways, he's more professional than I am.
Who?
He has good cameras.
Who?
Gabriele Basilica. We became good friends, but he has more professional cameras. So in a way, I prefer people like Wolfgang Tillmans who have very small cameras. And I never traded with Gabriele, but I traded with Wolfgang Tillmans. In fact, I have two beautiful photographs now. I actually don't know the artists in the gallery that well, because I'm not from Italy, by the way. I like Italian. I'm from New Jersey, and I love Italian-American women. In fact, one of these women has a very good gallery in New York.
Laura Grisi?
No. Laura was after me, but I never really liked her that much. She had an affair with Leo Costelli. No, I'm speaking about with Michelle Macaron. New Jersey girl has a gallery, but in terms of Italy, I love the films of Italy. I love Rossellini's films he made for French TV that Godard liked. But about Italy, Solowet, who was the first person I showed when I had my gallery, we sold nothing. But he said his work comes out of De Chirico, and he told me the reason he said De Chirico depicted the city plan of Torino. So I was happy to actually go to Torino. But actually, I know most artists like to spend a lot of time in Italy.
You will come in July in Italy for a while.
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days, okay. I
It's
drive you around.
No, it's a business deal, right? Also, the work is sold already, right?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So, does anyone have any more questions? Otherwise, I think we can start to. There's one up.
Drinking, we can start drinking.
Drinking heavily.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello, my name is Ravi. I'm an independent artist. So just a quick question. How do you feel about your art being resold to a second or a third or a fourth collector over time? Thank you.
I'm not aware of these things. What happens is most of my work now, I don't sell any of my photographs. There's actually no interest. What happens is I give most of my photographs for benefits, and then they're resold in auctions. I never see any money from them. Also, most of these early photographs that people want, I traded to other artists. And my work is pretty unsaleable anyway at the moment, even more so than ever. But I don't really mind it.
The resale is, we had many cases with the photo, but not with pavilion. Pavilion normally, usually, pavilion today is the main work of Dan.
Yeah.
And the pavilion is located in site specific, so usually it's made for that place, for that collection, and remains there. There is no, I had no cases of resale of this.
But
the photo in the frame is okay. You can. It's an object like another.
Since my work doesn't sell, I used to put a lot of photographs in shows, thinking that I could help the dealer out. But all the shows I've done with my new photographs was actually of New Jersey. And by the way, my book, Dan Graham's New Jersey, is available. What's happened is there's been no sales at all. But it's a lovely book. Actually, Massimo, for a private dealer, the site-specific things are very important. But for me, the best work I've done has actually been a work that's halfway between art and architecture. And people contact me directly. Dealers don't make any money on these sales. In fact, but the Como project, which we didn't sell, was something like that, and it was a masterpiece. So I'm very happy about it. Also, the book is great. So I'm very happy about the results. In terms of sales, dealers actually, like Massimo, really have a difficult time existing, paying the rent.
But you sold the work.
What?
You sold the Como work to me.
Is that a deal? I don't know.
I have a certificate and your letter stating I sent to Massimo Minini.
So in other
In
words,
fact-
it could be sold again in different locations?
I try to sell to someone.
Okay, yes.
But I want to make an example. The photo doesn't say my work doesn't sell. My photo doesn't sell.
At the
So
moment.
I think this is a good reason to buy, because they are very low price. I made the same thing with Luigi Ghirri recently. I presented his work in Basel 10 years ago. Ghirri was completely unknown. Today he's a little star in the artwork. And so, I mean, yes.
This question is for both of you guys.
Forte.
This question is for both of you. For young artists and dealers, do you have any advice about how to have such a great relationship like you guys have? What's your advice to young artists and dealers? Gallerists.
One of my former assistants, Anton Catala, basically only deals with people who has great friendship personally for. Also
What's your advice for young gallerists and
young artists.
Yeah.
My advice? I never recommend artists until they're 40, so I don't really know young artists. In other words, they're becoming middle-aged. Those artists, I would say, most of the great artists organize group shows for these galleries with their friends. I tried that often. I organize group shows with artists I believe in. And I think artists should continue doing that. And that way you have a network of people who support each other. And often, one thing about dealers, almost all the great dealers were actually artists, like Nicholas Logsdal. They began as artists. Also Conrad Fischer. So I say, show with your friends, and if they're artists, first, if they begin as artists, that's even better for understanding. Massimo is basically a writer. You write occasionally, right?
I'm not anymore a dealer. I'm a writer today.
Oh, exactly.
Do you have any advice for
what's the price?
young gallerists?
Not really. I can answer the other way around. Now my gallery is 40 years old, so I'm not anymore a young dealer. And our generation, we have the problem to remain young in a way. So usually we try to discover new artists or take young artists to add to our program. So today I have quite a schizophrenic situation. So I have some old masters, let's say, classic, and some young to cover the new possibilities. But very often we forget the old to jump on top of the new artist. So when we leave an artist old and famous and classic, I see that new galleries, they try to get it. I saw many young galleries who want to make a show of Dan Graham, of Sol Lewitt, of Lawrence Weiner. So I say, why should we remain up to date showing new artists when the new galleries, they want to show my old stuff? So this is quite a good question.
Then we have another question, I think at the back.
Hi, I'm Christina, a student of architecture. It's a question more about to Mr. Graham. Do you mention before just your problems, would say, with the work of Anish Kapoor and?
It's not a problem. Anish bought a piece of mine, so I'm very happy about that. He admires my work. He even says that, which most artists who have influenced by me never mention it. He's kind of a good guy. I don't like his later work, the big monuments, but very promising when he was a younger artist.
Continue.
My question was more directly the influence that you are mentioning, because I've just visited the works of both, and I feel that you're working with more a human scale rather than working as a big scale, as Anish Kapoor is interesting, and maybe he's working with other materials, so maybe the similarity is just the corpse. So how can you explain your similarity that you are being seen in his work with your work?
Well, I don't do monumental work. In other words, this is very Italian. It's called human scale, and they used to say humanist, but that was the Renaissance period. maybe I'm not really that much of a humanist, but my work is beloved by children. So when I want to make a sale, I always say my work is great for children and also good photo opportunities for parents. What's so important for me is many architects admire my work worldwide, but that's why the books sell out. So I'm collecting now work by architects.
Really?
Mm? But I think everybody's doing this. There was two dealers that did. Jörg Jonen began that way, and also another Virgo guy who's retired, Max Prodesh. He's retired now.
He's retired.
Also a Virgo. No, he's retired.
Sol Lute was a Virgo.
Oh, are you proud of that?
Germano is a Virgo.
Are you proud?
I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any more questions?
Mm-hmm.
One there.
I have a question for Dan. You seem to be mentioning star signs a lot, zodiac signs, in particular Virgo. Are there any particular star signs you wouldn't work with?
Star signs you can't work with.
Yeah.
I think.
Can you?
Are there any star signs you can't work with?
Any?
Star signs that you can't work with?
I don't trust in this story. I mean, I only discuss with Dan because I trust Dan, but I don't really trust the zodiac.
No, but I know that even people you couldn't work with, like Fabro, you liked as a friend and as an artist. So you could work with people, be friends on different levels, right? I believe. Also, you're very tolerant, I think.
I'm very
Tolerant.
I'm democratic.
No, artists can be narcissistic, dictatorial.
I learned something with doing the gallery, is that the gallery is a wide space.
That was a gallery, right?
It was the name of a famous gallery in Antwerp. So this gallery space must be mentally able to host different things. It's a kind of, as I said before, a schizophrenic situation. You receive an artist and you say, oh, okay, this is art. Next artist say, oh, this is bullshit, art is this. And very often artists are, not very often, but sometimes are one against the other. I remember big fight between Daniel Buren and Cadere, between Daniel Buren and Toroni, between Daniel Buren and Dan Graham recently. So in a way, the pole position is that Daniel Buren who determines who is a good artist or not.
But you don't have to trust. You shouldn't trust artists' opinions.
No.
By the way, they're self-serving sometimes. But the Cadere Buren thing is very interesting. The best gallery I ever showed was MTL Gallery in Brussels. They were supported. They sold and supported Marcel Broodhaus, and Fernand Spilmakis brought in Cadere because he showed Buren in a way because he wanted a kind of a dialogue and intellectual argument. Cadere was going back to the old. He was Romanian, I think. He was going back to the old Brancusi hand thing, and Buren probably didn't understand traditional sculpture from Eastern Europe. It was a wonderful relationship. Cadere was very jealous, extremely jealous, but it was a nice dialogue. So if there's dialogue between artists who disagree, I think it could be fun.
Finally, I think all these funny situations at that time, they were very creative because they provoke discussion and fight between artists. Today, artists, they don't fight anymore. They're too busy to make money.
Look, Buren and I, there's no physical fight. I'm not very strong physically, and I don't defend my territory because my territory is everywhere. I do so many different things. Basically, I don't have. I think every artist now has a trademark art. My work is not trademark. So I don't have to fight for my trademark.
You don't have to fight for your
For my
trademark.
to defend my trademark.
Yeah, your trademark defends himself without.
Well, no, I keep changing what I'm doing, so there's no trademark. On the other hand, I think Buren doesn't have that much friendship with other artists, but he has a lovely wife. I met her, and she was quite sweet. Sometimes the wife is sweeter than the artist.
Definitely.
Yes.
I prefer the wife. Any more questions? Otherwise, we go.
I think that's
That's
one
it.
here.
Massimo, in the 40 years of your work, I think the great revolution was after Lehman Brothers.
I couldn't hear that.
Now all the investors go to art,
Oh,
not stock auction, no houses, and the sales in the auctions, for instance, are always better. But now it's very difficult to convince new collectors to come, or you have a lot of money, or it's difficult to find new collectors, new young collectors. It is possible to find a way.
Me lo dici in italiano che capisco meglio?
How do you attract new collectors?
No, in other words, what he said.
Qualcosa. No, devi dirlo col microfono, scusa.
Dopo il 2008, dopo la crisi del 2008, tutti gli investitori sono buttati sull'arte, il mercato è effervescente, è altissimo, però è un mercato ormai impossibile per nuovi collezionisti che non hanno grandi possibilità. C'è una possibilità di avere nuovi collezionisti che le gallerie possono aiutare ad entrare in questo mondo, ormai è un mondo solo per super ricchi?
No, I think this is why we are always looking for new artists. By the way, the market is talking about artists millionaire, multimillionaire, but there are still many old or classic artists like Dan here,
I don't see myself
really
as
cost
classic.
almost nothing. Or
Look at
very,
look
very
at
reasonable
what I'm
price.
wearing here. Is this Armani?
So
It's not our money.
What you say is the media they repeat, they magnify the top prices.
Yeah.
It's true.
But of course the top prices are for few artists. And this is also destroying a kind of market because all the attention is focused not on the work but on the level of price reached. So we discuss about the $10 million for that, $20 million for the other, but still you can find very important works in the market for almost for nothing. It's according to you. I'm buying now. You have to go against the official market. I bought recently 4 paintings of Leo Golub. Who knows Leo Golub? Oh, probably no.
Golub?
Golub.
Who? Golub?
Yeah, Leo Golub
He had a fighting book.
he
had a fighting book.
was the husband of
Nancy Spiro.
Nancy Spiro.
By the way, he has a fighting book.
He died.
I know, but he's a fighting book, so he's known.
3 years ago, and you can find works of him in auction for $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000.
Well, I would say the best.
I bought a beautiful piece of Jobert recently.
But she's very expensive now.
She's very expensive, but I paid
very great artist.
very reasonable. So you can always find the possibilities. From the other side, there are many new artists coming out, so you can focus your attention on new generation. So the story that art is only for rich is true, but we can do something against this tendency. Art is not only the successful art in auctions. Art is what you buy in the galleries, and maybe not even in fairs, because in fair we increase prices. I should not say.
What?
Like the hotel. When you come to Basel, hotel costs the double.
What? What?
So come to the gallery. We give you
Well, when I
better
came to art
conditions.
fairs, I always try to think of stealing things. You actually, if they're small, you can steal things. Actually, I think maybe security is better now.
Yeah.
So this is to say that you should stop visiting fairs and come again to the gallery.
Oh.
Because in the fair, the collector is coming, he has 3 minutes. He say, okay, I come back. He never come back. If you come to Brescia, or to London, or to, I don't know where, to Ghent, you spend 2 hours in the gallery and you can look really what we have. So please come to Brescia and buy something.
But I stayed in the hotel in Brescia. It was awful.
I paid the hotel.
But it was a terrible hotel.
Yeah, but it's free of charge.
Well, I want Massimo is a very great dealer, but there's some other dealers who are quite great. In fact, I'm here for one. I came here. I
mean, Basilisk is not that good.
What?
Your hotel in Basel is not that good.
Well, that's because it's hard to get good hotels when there's an art fair, and I don't make so many demands. But there's a real problem. My wife, she's Japanese. She loves a tub, and it was hard to find that situation. But I also mention why I'm here. My Copenhagen dealer, Niklaus Valsner, has done a new pavilion for his booth, and this is very important. He also mostly paid for the airfare, I always deal with medium, small-sized galleries, and I do very well with them.
Yeah.
The big galleries really, first of all, they don't like my work. My work is not saleable. Also, they have this idea that they can control the artist. Massimo never controls me. I'm a free person. He doesn't try to control me.
I think it's a really nice way to end the conversation. I'd like to thank Dan and Massimo
Thank you.
for their time.
Thank you for everybody. Thank you.